This is Byron Lazine and Nicole White, and you are tuned into episode 199 of The Real Word.
Word is up. 199. I feel not ready.
We took last week off, so my apologies, because it was my fault. It wasn't Nicole's last week. We took last week off. And
I welcomed it.
Next week is actually not episode 200, but it is a special edition episode that you definitely do not want to miss next week, and then in 2 weeks.
What is it, like a montage of all your one-liners?
Hopefully my one-liners and none of yours.
I guarantee you it will just be a Byron Lazine montage.
It hopefully, I mean, I have no direction in what this special edition episode is going to be. But make sure you're subscribed for that. Make sure you're subscribed if we're bringing you any value here over the last 199 episodes. All right, so on this Real Word, we've got a lawsuit happening in Oregon where they were the first state to ban love letters. We're going to update you on that. We've got the two biggest takeaways out of the NAR annual conference, and of course, a Marketeer of the week. So let's start with Racket number one. Real estate brokers sue to end Oregon's unconstitutional ban on love letters. This is the press release right out of the Pacific Legal Foundation website, pacificlegal.org, which we'll link up if you're on YouTube to check out. So this is their press release. They are representing this boutique real estate firm. So they write, today a boutique real estate firm with offices in Bend and Portland filed a lawsuit challenging Oregon's ban on love letters for prospective homebuyers. Earlier this summer, obviously, Oregon became the first state to pass a law banning real estate brokers from transmitting non-financial communications between homebuyers and sellers, fearing that so-called love letters might be used to discriminate in housing transactions, but without any evidence of such discrimination. For Total Real Estate Group, that's the name of this. What do you think of that name, Nicole? Real Estate Group.
I feel like it's great.
The ban on love letters harms their ability to match potential homebuyers with their dream homes. The letter often prompts sales below the top monetary offer, creating opportunities for first-time homeowners and giving sellers peace of mind that their home ends up in caring hands. Love letters are incredibly important for matching buyers and sellers, says Pacific Legal Foundation attorney Daniel Ortner. Oregon cannot ban valuable speech because someone might use it to discriminate. So this is his comment. Oregon cannot ban valuable speech because someone might use it to discriminate. Such a broad speech restriction is clearly not justified. Represented free of charge by Pacific Legal Foundation, Total Real Estate Group is asking a federal court to restore their right to freely facilitate communication between homebuyers and home sellers. In another release from Pacific Legal Foundation, 75% of this firm's offers have some form of love letter or broker written cover letter that allows buyers to go beyond that financial offer that, you know, maybe the board has drawn up for them to make deals. So we were reporting this when it happened that Oregon banned love letters, basically because it could go against fair housing. Mm-hmm. Now, real estate, we're going to get into some quirky NAR rules here in Racket number two, but like National Association of Realtors, to be a realtor, you've got to live up to a whole particular code of ethics that is, you know, what you need to do to be a realtor, but not necessarily how, you know, it's not the law of the land, so to speak, right? And so this one, though, because fair housing is a law, like that's not just some made-up realtor thing, this one seemed like it was a little bit in the gray area for
100%.
sure.
Yep.
You know, like you can now, you know, really influence a seller's decision with personal facts about a buyer in a love letter, which can go against fair housing. So you've got fair housing as a law, and you have freedom of speech. I think
the biggest concern here, though, when they were talking about these love letters, is that you are potentially setting up your seller to discriminate against them, sort of knowing that that's what they were doing. And so that was the biggest problem on the real estate end side. And in my personal opinion, too, is I don't let my sellers read them now because I could be setting them up for that. Because as soon as you start talking about like, oh, my kids, I've got 2 kids, and then you're like, oh, oh gosh, I want a family living here, that's discrimination. So again, I feel like I get it that they want the free speech part, but this is really more about, are you setting up your seller to violate the law?
Nobody is restricting buyers from doing this. It comes down to an agent making it a part of their package when they send an offer in to the sellers. Like the agent, like love letters have often been coached by an agent. An agent says,
right,
hey, buyer, this is how you're going to write the love letter.
Oh, yeah.
Write it in this way. Here's a couple of examples of love letters that have worked in the past.
Hey, they like dogs. You like dogs. Talk about the dogs. Yeah.
Finding commonalities. To me, I've always, like you said, talk to my sellers about, don't read this. It's crap. It doesn't mean anything. Who cares if they like your dog Fluffy? Nobody cares. It's not going to get you the money at the closing table at the end of the day. Let's take the most qualified deal that meets your terms, right? If you want to close quickly and this one does it and it's cash and it's got no contingencies, that's your deal. Fluffy doesn't matter in this transaction. There are a percentage of sellers, though, that, oh, well, you know, I do care about them loving my Fluffy and they've got a little Fluffernutter. Maybe we can get Fluffy and Fluffernutter together. Maybe they can go play in the backyard and become friends, you know, the last time we're here at the house, you know. It doesn't matter. Like, go close on the property. It's a transaction. I've never thought it mattered, but this doesn't ever stop a buyer from going and doing it. So the buyer can just go do it. Their freedom of speech isn't restricted. So I guess what PAC Legal Foundation is saying is, I'm calling them PAC. Can I call them PAC? Pacific Legal. I'll go with Pacific Legal. It's not like the PAC Sun. What's the PAC Sun? Is that a clothing store?
It is a clothing store. Yeah.
Pacific Legal Foundation
I don't even know if it's still around.
Is fighting for the freedom of speech of realtors. But realtors have They've got their own rules they've got to follow.
I think that they're trying to do the freedom of speech for the home buyers, because it's clearly stating that it's putting the home buyers at a disadvantage because the letters often prompt sales below top monetary offer, creating opportunities for first-time home buyers, giving sellers peace of mind that their home ends up in caring hands. So they're saying that this is putting now their buyers at a disadvantage by not being able to provide a letter that accompanies an offer.
My point is, but doesn't that exist? Can't the buyer just send the letter?
Well, Oregon banned that. That's the problem here. They banned the love letters.
But how can my point is, I thought Oregon banned it, and maybe I'm wrong, and so maybe I'm wrong here. I thought Oregon banned it for real estate agents to be involved. Like, how do they ban it for the consumer? The consumer anybody can write a letter to somebody.
Well, right. I guess then because we're the ones that are delivering it to the seller.
I mean, it does from home buyers to sellers.
Maybe we should reference the original ban.
Represents violation of the agent's and client's First Amendment rights. So Pacific Legal Foundation is arguing that it represents a violation of both the agent and the client's First Amendment rights. I don't see what is stopping the buyer from ever sending information directly to the seller. I can see what's stopping
the agent from delivering it. Yes. So yeah, I mean, I guess the buyer could still mail it. They're going to mail it.
And remember, this lawsuit is on behalf of this real estate firm that is stating that 75% of their offers, use these love letters, that they're saying that they're very important to matching up buyers and sellers. I mean, I believe when the information came out, I said, great. I'm not really a fan of the love letters. You're not a lover
anyway. Yeah. As a buyer's agent, I love them. I mean, they do help. Again,
they do help.
It may help Fluffy get the house because, it's a couple that wants more
unfortunately
kids running around.
There are, I guess not unfortunately, it's their house. They can do whatever they want, but there are people that will take not the best offer. My parents, my childhood home, they did this. They loved
the letter?
They took an offer less than asking price because of a love letter, because this family's still there today.
Yeah.
That this family wrote a love letter. They had little kids. They raised it. So they got emotional about all of that. I would never do a transaction like that. And this is why, when we talk about like Open Door or Zillow, like thinking like, iBuying, which is less than 1% of the total addressable market, like is going to grow to the entire market, is ludicrous. Like there are some sellers that will just sell based off of the other party having kids or dogs. And there are some that want a convenient transaction and will sell their home for cash in 2 weeks to a institutional buyer. Like there's all kinds of sellers out there. Will this lawsuit win, Nicole? What do you think?
I don't know. I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I kind of feel like it can't. I mean, that what they're basing it off of seems a little silly. Again, I still don't know that you're putting your sellers in the best position when they're reading these letters. So
Pacific Legal Foundation took it at no fee, so they are confident they're either going to get some enough PR out of this, or
definitely. I mean, they emailed the article directly to us.
They did.
It's
on Inman as well. I mean, we were going to see it either way, but
touche. But they have a whole PR firm, yes, working on this clearly. But I'll be curious to see what happens. I mean, I'm curious to see what the ripple effects will be.
I think I've been pretty consistent that I believe love letters are a racket. I don't know if Pacific Legal Foundation, before they sent this over to me, went, back and watched some of our, prior content on this. So, I don't think they're going to win. If they do, that'd be very interesting.
Very interesting
to see that, there is a debate here. Okay. How do you protect fair housing, and how do you, also protect freedom of speech? I believe in freedom of speech for sure. Which is why I don't see how you can stop the buyer from going and doing it themselves. I can see how you can stop an agent because there's realtor rules and all of that. Okay, moving on. Racket number 2. NAR had some pretty big moves at their annual conference. We're going to talk about 2 of those, Nicole.
No huge surprises, though. I mean, this has been on the horizon. They have been, yeah.
Number 1, consumers will see the compensation offered to brokers. Okay, now we're giving you the Inman article that has 5 ways NAR's annual conference changed the future of real estate. And inside of those, there are breakout articles that you can go and check out, like deeper information. So let's start with the first of our 2 top takeaways that we're talking about here from the NAR annual. All right, so this broker commission policy moves ahead after a close vote, which it got a little heated as it has in the past around this discussion, from what I gather reading the article. So the proposed policy reads this: MLSs must include the listing broker's offer of compensation for each active listing displayed on its consumer-facing websites and in MLS data feeds provided to participants and subscribers, and must permit MLS participants or subscribers to share such information through IDX and VOW displays or through any other form or format provided to clients and consumers. So it must permit them, allow them, these MLS users, to share that information. The information about the offer of compensation must be accompanied by a disclaimer stating that the offer is made only to participants of the MLS where the listing is filed, Nicole. But there's a big but in all of this. And that is that you can opt out. You don't have to post this. So some brokers, like Redfin does already do this. They went ahead and I believe somewhere in California went ahead and has done this already. So Redfin in those locations will post the buyer agent commission. So, but what you're going to have is, because of the ability to opt out of this as a broker on a website, the rule is they must permit it. They must allow it. It must be transparent, but it's not going to be on every website. So it's a little weird that you're going to see it on some and not others, from my understanding. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's how I'm understanding this.
I'm having a hard time understanding exactly how you can opt out if it's being required on the sites.
Here's what it says on Inman. Per the new policy, brokers and agents using MLS feeds will not be required to display buyer broker commissions. So the policy's impact may be muted depending on how many brokerages decide against display. In addition, and it goes on, already 65 MLSs already changed their rules to allow public display of buyer agent commissions. Because basically, like, we can see on our MLS, we can see buyer broker commissions, right? Every MLS now must show buyer broker commissions. If there was some MLSs out there floating around that didn't do that already. Now, the MLSs must allow all brokers to be allowed, to be permitted to display. So 100% of MLSs must put this on there and must allow all brokers to display it. But per the new policy, brokers and agents using these feeds will not be required.
All right. So it'll be shown on MLS, but not necessarily to the public.
And it will be shown in the public in some cases. And here's the other thing. Like, say brokerage A decides we're going to display. So they could display your listing because that's an MLS listing. You're in brokerage B. Okay. Right. I'm in brokerage A. You're in brokerage B. Okay. I decide on my website I want to display, so I can display your listing and the buyer's compensation on your listing. On your website, you're not displaying. Okay, so now does that attract more buyers to my website? Is that why I would do this? I'm going to be getting more traffic on my website. That makes you, broker B, say, you know what, I got to do this now. Everybody's got to do it because I don't want to miss out, consumers going to that website as a clear advantage for more information, for more transparency.
More transparency, yep.
Right? I mean, that's the argument here, is that it's going to be more transparent. I mean, if you read the Inman comments, there's a lot of people that are commenting about this one. As an exclusive buyer broker, I don't care who sees my commission. But then you've got other people saying, well, here's what's going to happen is every time they're going to call the listing agent direct and say, hey, I know what you're offering to them. Why don't you kick that to me? Kick half that to me. I want a rebate. I'll work with you direct. So there's a lot of that argument going.
And then this guy Jordan is like, let's break it all down. Let's see, like, maintain licensing, brokerage splits. I'm like, holy hell. Yeah. Let's
break it all. Well, it's interesting because it's like, okay, you're going to show the buyer compensation, but you're not going to show the listing compensation. What I think is an amazing rule that they made, and it's tied to this, is that you are not, and this was stupid for people that did this anyways, you are no longer allowed as an agent to say, my services are free. I'm a freebie over here. Work with me because you're not paying for it. Like, that was the most pathetic position a buyer agent could ever take, is work with me because it's free. Like, I have no other value to show you other than it's free. You can't say that anymore, because this is part of educating consumers that buyer agents are not free. Now, if you feel like you can see 2.5%, 2.5 bananas on the fee, on a listing feed, and you're like, well, but my buyer agent's not worth that, so I'm going to go get a new agent that is worth that, or I'm going to renegotiate, because a consumer can negotiate their fee to the buyer agent. It is very interesting. It will lead to more negotiation. It will lead to people reaching out directly to listing agents and negotiating directly with them too. Listings are the power, always have been, and certainly will be because of this, for sure.
And because of the next one as well.
Yes. So the next big takeaway here is NAR passes listing attribution policy. So what is this? After stripping this proposal of most of its controversial aspects, NAR approved a policy on Monday to require the display of a listing broker's phone number or email address next to listings on agent and broker websites. So going back to agent Broker A website. I've got your Broker B listings on my IDX website, whether it's, Boomtown or Sierra Interactive or any of the names out there, right? I've got to now put your Broker B phone number or email on that listing as opposed to just saying Broker B. Like a lot of times people will just say Broker B has the listing, but they don't actually put the contact information. So now if I'm putting, 2.5 bananas for the buyer, here's Broker B, here's her phone, here's Nicole's phone number. Oh, I'm just going to call Nicole. I'm going to try to get me one of those bananas, one of those 2.5 bananas, work with Nicole direct. That could happen for sure. I could see that.
For sure.
What do you think of that? Posting the listing agent's number and or email. It's not and or, it's or. So they could post either one.
It's or. I mean, honestly, obviously, if you're a listing agent, that's really what you've always hoped. You've always been pissed that, a buyer's agent is coming through, even within your own office, because you're like, I think that lead would have been mine if they just were able to contact me directly. So, again,
question as a competitor.
Yes. Like, what do you mean? Like you and I are competitors because you're A and I'm B?
Oh, because we're doing the A and B. I should have been B because I'm Byron.
I figured I was B because you're obviously always
I'm an A player.
Well,
is that where you were going with that?
No, because I'm always like 1B. I'm just always second in line.
Are you sad today?
I feel great today.
All right, good. No, as a competitor, say you're like, okay, I have the choice, phone number or email. Which one are they going to answer slower and less? So question is, an agent is going to answer an email or a phone call slower.
Is it the brokerage's phone number or is it the listing agent's phone number?
I believe, and in the comments if I'm wrong, I believe the broker is going to have the option to put, I think it's going to be the agent in most cases.
You do? Because most brokerages want all of the leads to go to them.
Zillow supported this. If you read into the Inman article, Zillow was fully supportive of this. And my guess is Zillow supportive of this if they know that it's going to be the broker's email. I mean, an email, like you send an email to just like, CB, like good luck, like I'm not picking on them. I'm just saying like a big box brokerage. Good luck getting an email back. Like, who's the email going to? The manager?
Right.
That's ludicrous.
But if you go on to Ravis's website, though, the phone number does go directly to the Ravis call center.
Call center. They have a call center, yeah.
Yes.
And so
they're scrubbing the leads before they're giving it out to the agent.
Now, here's what's hilarious, right? Is Zillow was fully supportive of this. If they know it's going directly to the brokerages, that's why they're fully supportive of this, because brokerages are not going to be as equipped as the top 10% of agents at contacting these leads. I just don't care, what brokerage you're talking about. The top teams in the country have their internal ISA teams. They're on it. It's the reason why like Zillow Flex is partnering with them and that kind of stuff. If it's going directly to the agent, though, now you're getting to that same dilution of like every agent that has a listing. What are they answering faster? The majority of agents, email or phone? Oh, because phone you can text or call.
Well, but that's interesting though too, because if you click though on Zillow, because most times people don't want to talk to an agent, and that's why Zillow works. Is you click the thing because you want more information, which then is sent as an email to an agent.
As a competitor, I'm wanting my competitor information to be email. I don't want it to be phone or text. If I've got the choice of two and I have the choice of two, I'm going email. Because I also think a lot of people are going to click email and be like, I want to bounce out of this. But, email somebody.
Well, all very interesting. And it sounds like your air is back on around you.
Yeah, well, Bobby, nobody will hear that because Bobby takes that out of the podcast.
It sounds like a total racket over there. Yeah.
But Bobby takes that out. So you bringing that up was ludicrous. It's not going to be on the podcast.
It's a total racket over there.
All right, let's get into the Marketeer of the week. This is, and you know what? He's doing great content for the broke agent, but he's not posting it on his own feed. So hopefully you guys will go to his feed. The Marketeer of the week is on Instagram, real estate creative, Sterling Granger. He is
Oh my God, wait a minute. It's so friggin' funny.
What?
Because I just followed him. Like, we were just talking about him maybe like 5-10 minutes ago. So I did a little deep dive on him. I followed him.
You should be following him. Everybody should be.
Well, he just messaged me. I feel like I've made it. Thanks for the follow, Nicole. Big fan of the Real Word podcast and all the valuable insight you provide.
Look at that. An in-podcast testimonial.
Amazing. Just at 10:43. So like 15 minutes ago.
Thank you.
That's amazing.
Thank you, Sterling. And I hope you're subscribed. And if you're listening to this and you're not subscribed, I hope you are as well. So Sterling is creating content that the broke agent is posting directly on the broke agent account. So you want to go look for these last 2 videos on the broke agent account. The request for repairs video.
It's amazing.
I don't know what movie that's from. And then you also want to look at Zillow's Big Year, which, Nicole, I had a cameo in that movie that the real estate creative
haven't
produced.
seen it. I'll have to watch it.
Yeah, you got to watch that one. You got to watch them both.
Oh, that's why he's the marketeer. Of course.
Real estate creative. Go over to his IG, and then he's doing great.
Do you even need me? You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to set up. I'm going to set up a picture of myself on this screen.
We should do that for episode 200 in the comments if you'd like. Because I'm doing the episode there in the studio, but if you'd like me to do it with just a photo, a cutout of Nicole.
I'll just hold a picture of myself smiling in front of me. Or what if I do a picture of you in front of my face? Then it's like the Byron and Byron
the Nicole and
show.
Nicole show?
No, the Byron and Byron. I'll do a picture of you in front of me.
Oh, so I could debate myself.
Yes.
Well, you never want to debate me. I wish you would want to debate. We got to start a debate show soon.
You. I mean, it's not even worth it, really.
We're going to start. Actually, I'm doing a debate.
Yeah.
This will be the Marketeer of the Week. I'm doing a debate. I believe it's next week with Ricky Carruth. He agreed to do it. Do you know who Ricky Carruth is, Nicole? You know who Ricky Carruth is, right?
Yes, we talked about him before.
So I'm doing a debate one-on-one with Ricky on free coaching versus paid coaching. I am taking the side of paid coaching. I'm not a paid coach, but I'm taking that side. Well,
he offers free coaching, doesn't he?
And he offers this free coaching. So we're going to have a friendly debate.
Friendly?
On yeah, very friendly.
I feel like I want to be there with a martini in my actually some popcorn. We'll pop some popcorn. We'll watch it go down.
You might be there. We might do it on Instagram Live from Dallas.
Oh. I don't understand. How will I be there?
Are you coming to Dallas?
You flying me to Dallas all of a sudden?
Am I flying you?
I don't have a ticket. I don't have anything.
I don't have a ticket yet either. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. So that's going to be a debate. Look for that Instagram Live. That should be next week sometime before, or no, I guess that'd be after the holidays. The holidays this week. So look for that. And Eric, the broke agent, and Matt Leonetti are moderating.
Well, but make sure you follow Sterling though.
Follow Sterling. Yeah,
we love him. Congratulations, lovely videos.
And go on his actual profile. You know, he's promoting. Making these very funny videos for the broke agent, which are hilarious.
But he's doing incredible. I mean, $33 million, 57 bedrooms. I mean,
he's got these epic spots in Ventura County series going on his Instagram Reels. He's a Ventura County agent. So if you got Ventura County business, you want to talk to Sterling. But some pretty cool drone action on his IG happening there. All right, Sterling. I hope Sterling's following me now that he's following you. I have to double check that. Sterling.
I don't know if he's following me. He just sent me. He sent me a love letter.
Oh, can you? Maybe you can snap that. Send it to Bobby. We'll put that testimonial up. All right. Yeah. That's a wrap on 199. So next week, look for that special edition. Real Word.
Show.
It's not an actual episode. Episode 200 will be in 2 weeks.
Wait, but we're gonna go back. We're gonna go back to like the good old days, right?
It better. Listen,
where we used to have some bickering. We used to bicker when you used to let me bicker.
Get a hold of Lucas. He's in charge. It's not Bobby's deal. Get a hold of Lucas, Nicole, if he's putting that one together. So get a hold of Lucas if you'd like to put your notes in for that video. I've put 0 notes in, by the way.
I'm not going to put in any notes, but I mean, let's let the thing live for the last 200 episodes. I mean, we've come quite a long way. I mean,
I have given him no influence on the special edition episode.
Even just our microphone progression has been a wild ride. I mean,
there's been a lot of wild rides. So
definitely a wild ride. And I appreciate everyone that has been following along and that they recognize me as being on this podcast alongside you.
Everybody loves you on this podcast. I don't think you're loving yourself enough, Nicole, to be quite honest. I couldn't do this podcast without you, quite frankly.
Quite frankly, I think you could, but
no, I don't think I could.
I do appreciate your love, Byron. Thank you.
I'm super grateful for you, Nicole. I'm super grateful for everybody who has been with us for 199 episodes, and it's Thanksgiving week, Nicole, so I hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving if you're seeing this or listening to it before the holiday.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving. Keep it real, and we'll see you next week. Well, we won't see you next week. The special edition will see you.
2 weeks.
We'll see you 2
weeks.
weeks.
We'll still see them. We'll be around.
200. All right, see you guys.
See ya.